Where it starts to pick up, because once you deconstruct into nothingness like Alma the Younger, you realize you can talk to anybody about God, because God means several things, sometimes all at once.
Einstein was asked the big question, is there a God? And here's how Einstein answered the question. He said, there really are two kinds of gods. We have to be very scientific. We have to define what you mean by God. If God is the God of intervention, the personal God, the God of prayer, the God that parts the waters, then he had a hard time believing in that. Would God listen to all our prayers for a bicycle for Christmas and smite the Philistines for me, please?
Right.
He didn't think so. However, he believed in the God of order, harmony, beauty, simplicity, and elegance, the God of Spinoza. That's the God that he believed in.
All right, so this is super important because it shows that God could simply be the laws which govern the universe, which is something the atheists can even believe in because of science. Now, they won't typically call it God like Einstein or Baruch Spinoza did, but it's not far-fetched to think that the universe has laws, which we've discovered, that help us understand where we live. So this is going to be the first meaning of God to be familiar with, just natural law. But now let me ask you this. If there was someone who understood and could use natural laws at their will, what would you call that person? God. And that's the God we pray to. That's the one who hears and answers our prayers, has a plan of salvation, tries to help us out, tries to help us be the best that we can be. All right, but maybe you're thinking, oh, that's a little far-fetched to call someone a god for mastering natural laws. Like, we wouldn't do that. It happens all the time. Anybody who's highly skilled in something is often known as a god. For example, let's say you were really good at basketball. What would people call you?
That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Jordan was kind of like that God. He was that angel sent from heaven that I kind of used him to help me get through some of the darkest days that I had.
We called him Black Jesus for a reason.
So then an expert, hero, or a role model could also be a god, like Michael Jordan was to so many people. All right, this next one isn't always as obvious, but you'll get it when you see it.
You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone. I'm sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year. No, I'm for real. You reached the right number, but you called me at the wrong time. Call me back January 1st.
Did you catch it? God's your highest priority. It's whatever you're ready to dedicate your best self to, sacrificing all other important things. And if anybody says you're just making up those definitions, just keep in mind this is basically the abstract idea of the Trinity. This is the embodied Jesus Christ. These are the pharaohs, kings, and rulers that he went up against. And then these are the idols that they were always trying to tear down in the Old Testament. So now that you've become a master of deconstruction, you realize you can have conversations about God with any and everyone, even without them knowing.